I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, the creepy, and the strange.
And I drink.
And what are we drinking tonight, Mitchell? Our
beer tonight is Pink Lemonade Session Sour Ale, brewed and canned by the Three Ring Brewing Company in Asheville, North Carolina. 4.2% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. And there's a little bit to go here. It's not too bad, not like last week or anything.
It's not an Orpheus can or anything.
Right, but you can relax for a second, okay? All right, here we go. Pink Lemonade Session Sour Ale was brewed for our love of sunshine and hanging with friends in the warmer months. This incredibly crushable and refreshing fruited sour beer was created with some of our favorite summer ingredients. Raspberry fruit sweetness is balanced with just the right amount of lemony zip from lemon peel and nostalgic candied lemon aromas from lemongrass. End quote, but I just want to say lemon. Lemon. Because it's lemonade and they are leaning heavily into it. What I have to say is refreshing is definitely the word I would use for it. It's just like a pink lemonade. It's just not quite as fruity as a pink lemonade. For me, it's just mostly sour. They really did, like I said, lean into that lemon part of it and not too much into the fruit part of it. But yeah, it just kind of tastes sour and not really any other flavors. But it's a good thing in this case. It's rarely a good thing. But they do balance it really well.
I love a good sour.
Yeah. Well, it's just sour, though, is all that I'm saying. There's nothing else really happening. But I do like it quite a bit. It's not a bad flavor whatsoever. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Leah, you had a sip. What did you think?
I liked it a lot. But like I said, sours are like my favorite kind of beer.
Yeah.
Like the Citricabra from the one in Florence.
Singing River, I believe.
Singing River, yeah. That's like my favorite beer that I've ever had. And it's, like I said, very sour and citrusy. It is a little bit more fruity than this one.
Yeah.
So I would probably rank that one a little bit below, but I do love like just a really intensely sour beer, and that one is one of those things. So if you're like a sour person like I am, that's good stuff.
You are definitely a sour person.
But Leah. I definitely don't taste any of the raspberry. Like it's a really pretty color in the glass. It's sort of a, a pink lemonade-y kind of color. It's really nice.
See?
But I really don't taste any of the raspberry coming through. But I don't like raspberry, so that's good for me.
Yeah.
I liked it.
There we go. Moving on. Our shot in the dark for the night, Climax Fire Number 32, Cinnamon Spice Moonshine. Pot distilled and bottled by Climax Virginia Distillery in Fletcher, North Carolina. Again, this has been on the show before, like, what the fuck is that? What? Anyway, 40% alcohol by volume. Refer to episode 125, which was called It's On You, Terry, for the full review. This is the third time we've had it on the show, I believe. It's one of my favorites. It's got a 10 out of 10. It's just flat out amazing. The hot cinnamon flavored liquors have just always been good for us, and this is top of the class right here. So that episode that I mentioned, It's On You, Terry, was in September of 2020, so it's been quite a while, almost a full year since we first had this one. So anyway, we got a good shot in the dark at least.
Yeah.
And I do like the beer quite a bit, but the shot in the dark, I'm really looking forward to it because Leah is not drinking yet again.
Back on antibiotics, y'all.
Yeah. Leah's just always sick, y'all. It's like there's some kind of thing going around.
No, last year I was at home the whole time and I didn't get sick at all, and it was fucking awesome. Well, I mean, I got sick the one time that I left my house and I did get the COVID, but
That's true. That's true. The one time
we actually went outside, I fucking got it.
For a full year.
Whatever. Fuck me for leaving my home, I suppose. But now that I'm back in my office and being exposed to the people that like have children and have lives and shit that
and don't get vaccinated
and don't get vaccinated and don't wear masks and stuff like that. Yeah, I've been getting sick a lot more, and I don't know. You've
been sick a lot.
Yeah.
So
my immune system is fucked right now. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm back on antibiotics. So sorry about the not drinking thing. But
I accept.
I'd like to have them work. The antibiotics, I mean.
Oh, I was like, well, like who? What, your tonsils? Or
no,
I don't understand.
I don't know. The entire right side of my face and throat just feel like someone's punched me in it, and for no good reason.
Yeah. That's weird, too, because Leah had me look at her throat. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at, but there's nothing that looks different. So just one side of her throat hurts.
Yeah, and one side of my face. Like, usually when I have sinus pressure, it's the whole thing. I'm not running a temperature. They tested me for COVID. I was negative. Like, they don't fucking know what's wrong with me, so they threw antibiotics at it. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. It's fucking weird.
It's been a couple days, though, so.
Yeah, but if my, like, face is grimacy or, like, on the video or my voice just kind of fucks up, that's what's going on. I feel like someone's beat me in the side of the face with a baseball bat. So, you know.
Yeah.
You do what you can.
Which I've never tried. We could do that. That might be the fix for it.
You do have a baseball bat.
Yeah, I do.
Please don't hit me in the face with that.
Yeah, I have a fungo in the other room, and I'm just saying.
Is that your protection bat?
It actually is. Yeah. Like, I think I told you that when we moved in. It stays beside me at the bed.
Yeah.
Because of the meth head, and nothing's ever happened.
No.
But
he's never had to use the bat.
He's come to our porch and knocked on the door at like 2 a.m. a couple of times. So. Yeah. And there was one time about a month ago when he cut his grass at 11 o'clock at night. That was happens. Hilarious.
Bless it.
Oh, man. But yeah.
Anyway.
I keep the bat right there just in case.
Well, anyway, please don't hit me with that. But other than that, we're gonna do fun.
Right. Well.
So.
All right. What are we doing now?
All right. Well, let's get into a sassy Southern saying. Are you ready for it?
I sure am.
Okay. This one's pretty easy, but I'm enjoying it. So.
Okay.
Well, that's hotter than blue blazes.
Okay. I mean, that just means real hot.
Yeah.
Is real fucking hot. I would imagine that's because blue flame is hotter than orange flame.
See, and I thought that too, and I was wrong. Yeah. So the etymology of that particular phrase generally dates back to the early 19th century, and they had just euphemisms for everything because, apparently cursing in polite society was frowned upon at that point in time. And weird. So the word blazes in that time period is used exclusively as a euphemism for hell, for the place, hell.
Okay.
And, you couldn't say hell politely in society. So they say blazes, particularly in England, but, it migrated and then it got real Southern. And basically they say it's all gone to blazes. It's gone to hell. And that's sort of the youth. So if it's hotter than blazes, it's hot as hell. Okay. Basically is what it means. And they think that the blue could have been a euphemism for the word bloody because that's, a really popular English slang term. Kind of mild cursing. Okay. But it also could just be fun to say. The alliterative, just adding an extra punchy upward kind of thing. So blue blazes is more fun to say than just blazes.
Okay.
And then also, you're correct. The hottest part of a flame is the blue portion of a flame. So that might have also kind of aided in why they use the word blue. But it is in fact a euphemism for hot as hell. So that's
stupid.
Yeah. Okay. Hot as blue blazes. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Maybe no one else does, but
I hate every bit of it.
Yeah. So. Today, out in the sun, it was hot as blue blazes.
It actually was because we had to get Leah's oil changed, and literally when we got back in her car, or she got back in her car because I drove my car, it started pouring rain.
It was a flash flood.
Flash flood for like closer to 10, 15 minutes, and then it was just gone. And of course, it's Alabama, so it got 95 degrees immediately after that.
And it wet 95 degrees. Yeah. It's the worst. You feel like you're just walking around in a fucking kettle. It's so bad.
It was pleasant earlier, though.
Yeah, it was lovely and chilly this morning, and then it rained, and then it just, we were crawfish in a bowl. It was awful. And we had a family event. We had a family event to be at today, and it was outside because, we were trying to be safe and distancey and all of that shit. And Lord.
Yeah, it was quite nice when we started.
I was going to say, we sat in the shade, and then it stopped becoming shade real fast.
Sun moved, and my neck got so hot
See, and that's the thing. I don't really sweat.
Yeah.
But like apparently when I sit outside, the rest of my body doesn't sweat, but the backs of my thighs do. And so just like
Got them sweaty thighs.
I don't know why. Like it's just, I don't generally sweat. Like you sweat everywhere.
Yeah.
You are a glistening lady.
I always have. I sweat doing nothing. First of all, but if we're in hot weather, everything on me is wet. There's wet patches all over my clothes.
Yeah, and see, and
disgusting.
I don't generally sweat unless it's real, real hot. For whatever reason, the back of my thighs, man. Oh, I've had a rough day, is all I'm saying. But anyway, yeah, it was hotter than blue blazes. So use that phrase sometime. The world's heating up. I'm sure it's going to be hot than blue blazes around you wherever you are real soon. So
yeah.
It's a fun Southern phrase to stick into your vocabulary for the global warming.
Yeah. Y'all do that. Let us know how it goes. That's your word for the week or phrase for the week.
Phrase for the week.
Yeah. We should have been doing that this whole time. Like y'all use it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Or at least once and report back your findings.
Did it feel good on the tongue, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Them sweaty thighs felt real good on the tongue.
You're so nasty. Ugh. Okay. How about we get into our first story of the evening because that was gross.
Okay.
All right. We're going all the way to Galveston, Texas. We are going to be talking about the haunting of the Ashton Villa.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's real haunted, according to the people that say that it's real haunted.
Instead of just a little haunted.
In everything that we do that's like a historical home, and that's what this is. It is still an antebellum home that still exists in Galveston, which is really impressive because,
it's
Galveston had that.
After the band, it's a Lady A home.
No. Galveston had that massive hurricane in the 1900. I think it was right at 1900. Okay. I could be wrong, but we've talked about that hurricane before.
Yeah.
But they had that massive hurricane and it fucking wiped out most of the buildings there. So the fact that it's still around is pretty impressive. Yeah, but anytime we talk about historical house, they're always like, it's often called the most haunted place in America. And you're just like, yeah, but I read that about the last house and
so everywhere
that other
else.
house. We got to come to a consensus, guys. Paranormal folks, there's got to be at least one that is the most, for real.
But then how do you quantify that?
I don't know.
Is it quantity of ghosts or severity of a certain ghost?
Quality? Is it poltergeist activity versus residual hauntings? I want to know a scale. I think someone should come in and standardize it, and let's actually figure it out. Because, not everybody can be the most haunted, but, it physically is not possible that everywhere is the most haunted place.
Yeah, the most haunted where. I agree. Fucking shit, Leah. But yeah, it could be like the Scoville scale. It measures spiciness in food, but nobody really understands. It's just this one's 2 million. It's okay, I just think that means hot. What else
30,000 Caspers,
Yeah.
I need a... But people, nowadays, people think Caspers are more mattresses than ghosts, so we need a better ghost
Do they?
scale.
Who does? I know that Casper makes mattresses, but I haven't heard people confuse them. Leah, you're making shit up.
I feel... okay.
I did love Casper as a kid, though. That movie was a little iffy, but the cartoon was wonderful.
The friendly ghost.
Don't sing.
I had those when the movie came out. I think it was Pizza Hut that came out with the little toys. It might have been a different place, but they had the little... they were these hard plastic hand puppets that glowed in the dark. And I got my hand stuck up Casper's ass because my hand was really too big for the hand puppet and it was made out of way too hard of a material to be a hand puppet. Yeah. But that's how they were advertising it. And I stuck my fat, meaty little baby hand up Casper's ass and my mom had to...
Did you fist it? You got to go in flat. Yeah, even when fisting, you go in flat and then you make the fist.
You got to go in and do that. I get it, but... I got my meaty lady hand or baby hand stuck in Casper's butt. My mom had to cut Casper off my hand.
Really? With scissors? Were you traumatized?
A little bit.
Not from the hand, but from watching your mom cut the thing.
No, just from the hand thing. I loved that thing.
It's like a Chinese finger trap.
Yeah. It's just my hand was too fat for
the more you struggle, the harder Casper holds on.
He's got a really tight spectral sphincter.
Oh, Leah.
Spectral sphincter's fun to say.
Oh, I was thinking tight spectral sphincter might be the title of the episode.
Gross. Oh, bless it. But anyway, back to the Ashton Villa in Galveston, Texas.
Where does it lie on the spectral Scoville scale?
Oh,
how spicy are the ghosts?
The spectral sphincter scale?
Oh, there you go. Now we got it.
How many ghost assholes out of 10?
Yeah.
Anyway.
What are the tightnesses of the ghost sphincters on the scale?
Okay. We're not getting anywhere soon, so let's collect ourselves and move forward. So we're going to be talking about the Ashton Villa. And it was commissioned to be built by Mr. James Brown. Not that James Brown.
Hey, that one?
Other James Brown. In 1861. He was the 5th richest man in Texas at the time, which...
And the hardest working man in show business.
Not quite.
Come on.
Yeah, so he built this big-ass house. It's a 3-story, It's a 3-story mansion. It's Italianate Victorian architecture. You can Google it, and there are lots of images that you can see of the front of it. It's, really pretty, but basically it's just a big squarish brick building with wrought iron black railings. It's really pretty. And, it's in Galveston, and Galveston's really cool. So, so we're going to be talking about the villa, some of the ghosts that haunt it, and some of the interesting things that happened there. Because it, survived the Civil War, and it was used as, a field hospital. And all of the ghosties that come along with those kind of things, are present in this. But the most interesting ghosts that haunt the place are the sisters of the man the daughters who are sisters of the man that built it. So James Brown had 2 daughters, Betty and Tilly Brown. And so James Brown was the 5th richest man in Texas, and that meant that Betty and Tilly were very, very spoiled, like rich bitch growing up. They were the heiresses of their day, and especially Betty. Betty was the older daughter, and she was eccentric, I guess is the best way to put it. So James Brown spared no expense on whatever his daughters wanted. They lived the most extravagant, opulent, luxury lifestyle that money could buy at the time in Texas. And she, Betty, was such a socialite about town that they ended up calling her the Texas Princess. Like everybody just called her, Princess Betty.
Because she was that important.
Because she was the main bitch. But she wasn't like a proper Southern Belle type of rich bitch. She was smoking, swearing, kind of do what I want, fuck you guys kind of socialite, which I think is a little bit more fun. Mm-hmm. She was really well known for, she liked to race carriages down the main street there in Galveston. So she would race a carriage with a team of black horses during the day with a black carriage, and white horses with a white carriage at night down the street. I guess for visibility's sake. I don't know. I guess I don't know why the color difference, but that was a thing that was noted. She really liked to smoke cigars in public, which was very scandalous at the time. And one of the big things that she really freaked people out over was that she liked to travel without chaperones. So at the time, ladies had maids or someone come along with them basically everywhere to make sure that their virtue was not, tainted at all.
Right.
No, well, even the suggestion of someone not, or being alone with a man could ruin her. You know what I mean? Everybody's seen Bridgerton, which obviously is different time periods, but still,
fuck yeah.
still similar, feelings, time periods. And so. The bitch did what she wanted, and I admire that. Shot in the dark.
Oh, it's time. All right, let me see if I can do this. Remember, it's 2 buttons now, so here we go. Pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good. Okay, go ahead.
So, shot in the dark, Betty had an affinity for a particular animal and was known to keep them around all the time. What was it? Was it A, puppies, B, kittens, or C, piglets?
Oh, man, I want it to be piglets so bad, but I know it's not. I'm going to say she was a crazy cat lady.
You're
Cats.
correct.
Yay!
You still have to drink.
I was going to say, I still have to take the shot,
Yeah.
so it doesn't really matter. But
or neither of us have to. That's up to you.
why would we do that?
I don't know.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I just don't want you to be
What is wrong with you?
punished because I'm sick as fuck all the time.
Hey, my stomach is already messed up. Has been all day. We didn't eat any more miso, but whew, I had avocado toast with black beans this morning. Things have been weird all day. Just all day.
Yeah, well.
I'm fine. There's nothing to report. Okay.
All right, well, just add that cinnamon to it and let's keep going.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, so she was also known to throw really, really lavish balls and parties. And her favorite thing to do was wearing these long gowns with trains. And she would let the kittens climb on, and like she would just carry kittens around on the train of her dress. And the kittens would just sort of like lay down on, you know how cats are, they'll lay down on any kind of soft material. And she would have kittens just laying on the backs of the trains of her gowns. And she just sort of, you know, walk the kittens around the party on the backs of her dresses.
Very cute.
Yeah.
And I want to do that.
Yeah. She just fucking loved kittens. She let them like clamber up on her, kept them on her shoulder. Like, you know, she loved kittens and had a bunch of kittens around all of the time. And she didn't just stay in Texas. She gallivanted all over the fucking place.
She gallivanted over Galveston?
She gallivanted over Galveston.
She galvanated.
Yeah, something like that. But she traveled by herself through Egypt, India, Jerusalem, Morocco.
Did they call her the Galveston Galvanator?
I don't think so.
Gallivanter. God damn it, motherfucker. Ruined it. It was such a brilliant joke.
Yeah, you missed there. Sorry about that. But yeah, she went all over the place. And lots of people really wanted to marry her because obviously she's rich as hell. And if you marry this lady, it's your money now. But yeah, she was just like, I'm not doing that. She courted lots of people. She let, you know, dudes buy her shit and take her out. But she had absolutely no intention of getting married whatsoever. She just liked to buy fancy antiquities and, you know, expensive shit from all over the world and like bring it home and hang out with her cats. Like she did not give a fuck. And a lot of people today kind of speculate that she was probably a lesbian. There's no written record of anything like that, but a lot of people
hope.
I was gonna say a lot of people do, you know, speculate that could be a thing. It could also just be that she didn't want to like give her independence or her money to a dude, and it was way more fun to
like Lady Gaga. Like she said that for forever. Like she stayed creative by not having sex with men because she honestly believed that her creativity would be sucked out of her vagina if she slept with somebody. Do you not remember that?
I do, but
that was like 15 years ago she was saying that.
Honey, dudes aren't that special. They don't have vampire dicks.
No, it's not that. It's that
I get it.
It's not that the guy was the special one. It was the fact that she was maintaining her creativity. It was an empowerment thing.
I mean, and if it works for you, that's great, but I don't think vaginas have that much to do with creativity, but okay.
It did for her, Leah. You're being very close-minded right now.
I'm just saying, live your life, man. If it works for you and you made millions of dollars off of not getting any, that's great.
Hey.
More power to you. But I just think that
I don't know if she's still doing that.
I just feel, isn't she getting married?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Anyway.
To Tony Bennett, right?
No.
Fucking Tony Bennett?
No. No. But anyway,
my mom loves Tony Bennett.
I thought he died.
No, he's 95 and he's doing his last tour with Lady Gaga right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she's putting a little too much importance on that. But whatever, not my business or my life.
Leah, absolutely, you're being so close-minded right now. That's where her creativity came from. Was from not submitting herself to someone else. That was the whole thing.
Okay, sure. Once again, weird but fun. You just completely fucked me up, and I don't know where I am in this story anymore. Thanks for that.
Like George Carlin would get high to write. Like
Yeah.
he would smoke a bunch of weed and then write. Same thing. That's how he got in the zone. Lady Gaga got in the zone by not sleeping with men.
Okay, great.
Like actively.
Fine. I don't know what this has anything to do with the story at all.
I was asking if that's what you were saying about her. That's how she kept her pride and her not necessarily creativity, but you said that she just didn't want to sleep with men because it maintained her.
I don't know that she didn't sleep with men. I'm just saying she didn't get married. Okay. There's no record saying, she fucked.
So we don't know about her purity.
No, we don't know about her sexual status in any way. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like historians have cast assumptions that she may have been not into dudes. But like I said, there's no historical verifiable anything that would have told us either way whether she was interested in anybody at all. So, like I said, that's just speculation on everybody's part. That's all I was saying. And then you had to make it fucking weird.
I thought she was doing a Lady Gaga thing.
I don't think so. But anyway, so she still haunts the Ashton Villa, and people say that they see her a lot in the Golden Room. And the Golden Room is actually where they keep most of her shit that's still in the house. So that makes sense. If someone, filled a room full of all of my favorite shit, I'd probably come back and look at it,
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Yeah, why not?
I guess.
People most often see her at the top of the staircase, and she kind of appears on the stairs in like a turquoise gown, and she's just holding a fan, and she's supposed to be just really, really beautiful, and just sort of going down the stairs, hanging out. She's also in that room. For whatever reason, the ceiling fan is really bad about like turning on and turning off on its own. And also like drawers and stuff of chests and boxes and stuff that don't have keys anymore lock and unlock themselves randomly. So that's weird. But yeah, it's mostly just normal little ghosty motion alarms go off when no one's there, that kind of thing. But for the most part, Betty is generally seen, if she's seen, as a full-bodied apparition at the top of the stairs in a beautiful turquoise gown. But her sister, Tilly, also tends to haunt the mansion as well. Now, Tilly was also a rich bitch like her sister, of course, but she was more of the marrying type. She was a lot more traditional than her sister was, and she ended up getting married in 1884. But, unfortunately, she married a man named Thomas Sweeney, and he was a fuckface. He was very physically abusive, and he mentally and physically abused Tilly to the point where it was just a nightmare. The children that they ended up having together hid from him very frequently, refused to talk to him. Like, it was bad. And so she ends up taking the kids and going back home, basically, and she files for divorce, which is very unusual at this time.
Yeah, I was going to say, but probably in her best interest.
Yeah, because most of the time, she was the rich one in the situation going into it, so she was gonna, if she filed for this divorce, he's getting everything in the divorce, except all of the maids and family members and everybody that was in the household testified to the fact that he beat the fuck out of her. And there were plenty of eyewitness accounts, in the trial saying, oh no, he's like literally beaten her within an inch of her life. This is not okay. He was a ruthless fuckface. And so the judge it was very weird, and Victorian law just doesn't do this at all, but he was denied property rights because normally in a divorce at the time, legally the home, all of the estate went to the man, period. It did not go to him. She got to keep all of her shit. And she also got custody of all of the children, which, like I said, is not something that generally happened for women in divorces in that time period.
That's surprising.
So she got everything because everybody specifically said, no, we can verify. This ain't her. This is a him problem, so.
That is surprising considering modern day.
Yeah.
When, if you listen to fucking men's rights activists, we don't get anything. But it is true that in most divorce proceedings, women get custody. But
I do know several cases where that has not happened.
As do I. But I'm just saying statistically. But at the time, it makes sense because women didn't exactly work or quote unquote provide either. So, but she was also a fucking heiress. So, she was probably all right.
She was probably going to do just fine as long as she wasn't being beaten by her abusive husband.
Yeah, I'm in the divorce.
Yeah,
getting custody. So.
Yeah. So she came back home and she found lots of solace in being in her family home. And a lot of people think that she has come back to the home to haunt it as well. Because she, because initially when people started telling these stories and stuff like that, they're like, oh, so like there's a ghostly piano playing that happens because of course it's a big fancy house. It's going to have a big fancy piano. And people report hearing this ghostly piano music coming from that room. And everybody's like, oh my God, Betty's playing the piano. And all of this historians are like, Betty didn't play the piano. She fucking never learned. Like, she was a painter. Yeah. And actually lots of her paintings still hang in the house. And apparently she was a really accomplished painter as well. But it was her sister that played music. So Tilly played piano and violin. So they tend to believe nowadays that music is coming from Tilly and not Betty. So they believe both sisters are sort of hanging out in the afterlife in that big fancy house, having a great time.
Keeping each other company.
And they also say that there is another sort of an apparition. It's not really an apparition. It's a voice. They hear a man's voice and he sounds pissed off. And it sounds like he's arguing with someone. And some people think that it's the ghost of Tilly's husband. Some people think it's just like one of the dudes that Betty rejected. Who knows? But they hear like a real disgruntled man arguing with a woman just from another room, when there's no one in the house. Yeah. Which I think would be a really not great kind of thing to hear. No thanks.
No, you're kidding.
Yeah. And of course, that house was used by Confederates at one point and Union soldiers at another point for hospitals, for command stations, like they did all over the place where there were battles. Yeah. And so people report seeing, soldiers of both sorts marching around the grounds. But just as far as Civil War history goes, and something that still continues on to this day, so about Juneteenth, right? Where like the Civil War basically didn't end when it did because you still had to wait until everybody else
heard
gets
about
the news out and heard about it.
It takes a while, right?
So it was months and months and months later. Almost how many years was it? Like I said, I'm bad on numbers.
Was it years?
I think it was. I don't remember when that date was specifically, how much further past the signing of the armistice was, but
I'll look for you 1 second.
Yeah, so but basically the news didn't show up in Texas until a lot later.
No, it was 1865, the end of the Civil War. It was just a couple of months. It was June 19th.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why it's Juneteenth. It's June 19th of 1865.
I knew it was June 19th. I just didn't know if it was... Yeah. I didn't know how much longer it took for them to find out. But
a few months, because didn't the Civil War end in February or something?
Man.
I don't know. Something like that. I don't know too much about the Civil War. So.
See, and that used to be my jam when I was a kid, but dates do not stick in my brain anymore. I've gotten a 30-year-old brain and I just can't anymore.
Because the Civil War actually took place from 61 to 65. But see, this is something I didn't know. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's it. But the war wasn't over for 2 more years. But then it took until June of 1865.
Yeah, but so if you seceded from the Union, the Emancipation wouldn't
it didn't
do
apply.
Anything until the war ended. Mm-hmm. And they became, U.S. territory again. But anyway, so the guy that showed up from the Union Army to tell everybody that the war was over and all the slaves were free, his name was General Gordon Granger. And they say that, and see, it's not recorded where this actually happened, so it may have happened there. There's no extant historical evidence that it happened here, but it is something that everybody kind of folklorically believes happened here, so maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But, they believe that proclamation was read on the veranda of the villa.
Really?
There.
It was in Galveston. Like, I can see it in here. So.
Yeah. Like I said, some people believe it happened there. Some historians say it probably didn't happen there. But they actually do still have a lot of every year on Juneteenth. They have a giant celebration there.
Yeah, here it is. Here's what happened was it was on June 19th, 1865, General Order Number 3 was announced by the Union Army General Gordon Granger, it says, proclaiming freedom for slaves in Texas.
Yes.
Right. So we got that, but that was the whole deal of it was the last one where they got to.
Yeah.
So that's why it's June 19th, because it was actually over a few months before, but then all that happened, and Texas was the last holdout.
Yes.
So that's the whole thing pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just still trying to find the actual day when it was like it started here, but now it took this long to get to us. But I don't think it was years, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was probably just months.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, it's folklorically a thing that proclamation happened there on that villa.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it did or not is debatable. But like I said, every year they still have large Juneteenth celebrations and historical stuff that go on there at the villa. They have some, statuary of different civil rights leaders and that kind of stuff there on the property. It's a really neat historical tie-in with the Juneteenth celebration and that kind of thing. I think it's really interesting. So yeah, it's just a neat house. It's not open for tours or anything anymore. It's a venue space mostly. People, rent it out for galas and, corporate events and that kind of thing now. But it's a really beautiful house, and it's still there from... it survived the hurricane. So it's one of the few antebellum properties still, there in Galveston. But yeah, it's a neat place full of history and some interesting ghosts. So there you go.
It was very interesting. Yeah. And I just want to say I've been looking a little bit here. It's the actual date of celebration was for a while kind of debated, and they just kind of settled on June 19th because of what happened in Texas.
Yeah.
Because it happened in various places at different times. Mm-hmm. So they started celebrating everywhere. Kind of like how July 4th was not thought to ever going to be what July 4th is for the United States of America, because I believe it was supposed to be July 2nd was what people thought was going to be the big day. Like who were signing the Declaration of Independence. I thought, because it wasn't signed on July 4th. It was signed a day or two before that. But
that's the thing, though. A lot of people signed at different times. It was being signed months earlier than that. That was just like when several people got together and signed it at the end kind of thing.
I don't remember where I heard that, but someone specifically, it may have been George Washington. I could be completely wrong, but thought that either July 1st or 2nd was going to be the big day in like celebrating American independence, but it became the 4th.
Once again,
for other reasons,
My face hurts and it's hard to brain. So if I ever knew that, I don't
It's
now.
gone. She gone.
Okay. She ain't coming up right now, so
she gone.
Sorry about that. Anyway, so I guess it's time to take our little break. And then
did you give all your sources?
Oh,
because you normally do that.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure. You didn't.
I did not write it down. Hold on. Wikipedia for one, but then there was. Damn it, Leah! Come on. I'm sorry, guys. Let me go back in my history because.
Do you want to pause and then we'll do our normal pause and you can look that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'll be back with my sources very shortly because Leah is bad at typing notes out. When her face hurts, I'm bad at talking too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
great though.
I'll be right back.
Okay. We'll see y'all soon. And we are back. Who's excited?
Woo!
Leah's excited.
So excited.
All right. Well, I guess let's get into story number 2.
No, we've got to tell them about my sources for the last one because I fucked up.
Right.
So Wikipedia because and then Galveston.com is what I couldn't think of because That was too hard. And also ghost tours of galvestonisland.com.
You just couldn't remember. It's okay.
Yeah, it all had Galveston in the name, but, whatever. I'm blaming it on the facial pain, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. It's good enough for me.
Good enough for you. Are you ready for a real bummer of a second story?
Yeah, I sure am. You know why?
Why?
Because the last time I ate today was at about 3:45.
Yes.
And it's after 11.
Yes.
And I'm kind of hungry, so like I'm not wanting to eat again because I've had, 4 beers or so. So I'm like hungry now.
Yeah.
And I probably shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I want something to take me down, to make me be like, I don't want to go to Taco Bell. But I also really want to go to Taco Bell like right now. So
how many deaths is it going to take to keep you from going to Taco Bell?
I'll be honest, Leah. 30 to 40.
Oh, we're not going to hit it. We're not going to hit it.
Thank God you're not drinking.
How about devastating destruction?
No, I don't care about that.
Okay.
Things are things.
We've only got 19 deaths, so.
Let's make it work.
Okay. I'll try to be as depressing as possible. We're anti-Taco Belling here. Okay. Let's dig in. We're going to Saltville, Virginia, and we are going to be talking about the Muck Dam disaster.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Muck Dam sounds like something I know. I know what it is. I know what it sounds like. I don't know if you've been a part of this, but anyone listening may know that there used to be a big chain, especially around the Southeast, called Baumhauer's Wings, right? And it was one of those places that, in my life, at least originally, that you could do like bar trivia. Everybody got those little handheld like tablet things.
Yeah.
And the trivia was up on the screens. Well, it would always block out dirty words. And I found out from a young age, I want to say I was like 15, that if I put in the username, the maximum was 6 characters, the username Mucknam, MUCNAM, that it would get up on the screen. And that was man cum backwards. And that's what made me think of that, Leah. So welcome to my almost 5 beer world that really wants Taco Bell. I just remembered that my name every time that I went to Baumhauer's was Mucknam. And I never won. And then they eventually added poker to it because poker got big for a while. Like I would play poker with people in Baumhauer's on the little tablet.
There was a Mexican restaurant in the next town over from here that I really liked that had that same thing. And I loved playing trivia. But then that got shut down they were selling pot out of the back. So,
hey, at least they weren't selling Mucknam.
I get. Anyway, no, this is not a Mucknam. This is a Muck Dam.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking about when the Muck Dam broke.
Madcom. You can do that one too.
Gross. Unfortunately, what came out of the Muck Dam was pretty white and caustic. So I'm just saying, it's a problem. Okay, I don't mean to make light of a situation, but it is a real bummer, and so
here we go.
Yeah, okay. So on top of the fact that it's a real fucking bummer, it happened on December 24th of 1924. So this is Christmas Eve, guys. And it is a small town in southwestern Virginia. It's a community, the entire community is called Saltville, but Saltville has a bunch of little suburb kind of places. And what got wiped out by the Muck Dam disaster is a little area called Palmertown. And everybody, it was cold that night. It was really cloudy. It was about 28 degrees. Everybody thinks it's going to snow. Everybody's excited. Everybody's dreaming of that white Christmas. Well, unfortunately, White Christmas came with a vengeance, and it was not snow. Mm-hmm. So the area is really, it's called Saltville. So obviously there are lots of natural deposits of salt in the area. And there was, I believe, in 1908, the first sort of, I skipped over something. Fuck.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, found it. Okay. I skipped ahead. But anyway, so in the early 1800s, there's a man, an industrialist named William King, and he introduced the technology in the area to sort of start refining this salt and pumping brines out of these deep water wells that they'd created. Because, like I said, lots of natural salt deposits in this area. He brought steam pumps and stuff like that. And eventually the railroads come in. And it really makes this sort of out of the way, nowhere kind of place into, a pretty industrialized area with, amenities and that kind of thing. There was business brought to Saltville because of their natural deposits. And then the machinery was there to be able to actually, manufacture things. And in, let's see... 1893, they eventually end up forming the Matheson Alkali Works, which it had been named a couple of things here and there, but eventually it comes up, and this is the name that they stuck with, was the Matheson Alkali Works. And they're the main player in the disaster that happens. So, shot in the dark.
It's time, y'all. Let's do the load gun and the shoot gun. We ready?
Yeah.
Getting good at that.
So,
good.
My question is, what was the primary product produced by the Matheson Alkali Works?
Okay.
Did they produce A, table salt, B, sodium bicarbonate, or C, smelling salts?
Sodium bicarbonate is... Hold on. It's either also table salt or it's baking soda.
It's baking soda.
Okay. I couldn't remember because people like to, be funny with table salt, baking soda, or what was the third one?
Smelling salts.
Smelling salts. I'm gonna go with baking soda.
Yeah, you got it right. It's baking soda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you get for calling it the fancy thing.
Yeah. So
even though I have to take the shot, but still, fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh God.
They in fact produced. They were the primary manufacturer of bicarbonate of soda, but then eventually, go ahead.
I want to announce that we're going to put Mucknam T-shirts on the store.
We are
starting
not
this
doing
week.
that. You and your drunk ass can go fuck yourselves because we're not doing that.
I forgot that we had the store again.
Yeah, we have a store,
forgot.
by the way. Links in all of the places.
You're going to put up Mucknam T-shirts.
We're not.
Y'all can put on Team Mucknam. That's what's going on the shirts.
No, it's not.
Who would buy it?
You don't know how to do any kind of graphic design, and I'm not showing you how to add it to the store.
Black shirt with white splotches.
Nope.
Team Mucknam.
We're not doing that. Gross. So, eventually the plant started making other things as well. So they ended up making soda ash and caustic soda. Eventually they added a few other lines, so they did bleach powder and dry ice, a bunch of other stuff. But basically they had this dam where all of their waste water and all of the byproducts of their production got put into this sort of retaining dam lake situation. Everybody called it the Muck Dam because it was a big dam.
Makes sense.
And it was filled with muck.
Yeah.
It was a muck dam.
Yeah.
And basically it it was a retaining wall that it was not so it was built in 1908, the retaining wall that held this muck dam back. And the dam was basically built out of just like a solidified version of the muck that was in the dam in the first place. And initially, for the size that it was when it was constructed, it was perfectly fine. It was retaining an appropriate... it was built to retain the amount of muck that they had in the dam at the time. But as the muck continued to grow and there was more tonnage of muck in the dam, they did not reinforce the wall. And so it had all of this pressure building up on a wall that really was not constructed for the purpose.
Oh no, this is a dam failure story?
It is a dam failure story.
Oh, I actually hate these because it's so sad.
Yeah.
That,
I told you it was a major bummer.
It's like the levees in New Orleans. It's like you have these structures and you trust them, and then all of a sudden they just fail.
Yeah.
And everybody, there's no warning. Everybody's just going to die. Yeah,
and there's an extra layer of fuck because it's a muck dam from an alkali works.
So it's like a landslide.
It's sort of tons and tons of water, but also sludge, and the sludge is caustic.
Yeah.
Because it's all very basic. And
I'm sorry that
we'll
I'm
get
ruining
there.
the story,
Yeah,
but
we'll get there. But it's an extra fuck ton of oh no that's heading for these people in Palmertown.
yeah, like there was one I heard about not long ago that happened like 300 years ago in California that was really bad.
Yeah.
That just like a dam broke and then it affected like 100 miles worth of towns and stuff.
I saw that video too.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but
it was an Ask a Mortician video.
Was it?
It was.
I don't know that I watched that, but
one of her more recent videos was about a dam failure. That sounds like the one that you're talking about.
I don't know. Maybe,
anyway,
maybe.
So basically, yeah. So they're producing all of this stuff. They're filling the muck dam full of, their byproducts, and unfortunately, on December the 24th of 1924, around 8:00. Just the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And by that I mean the dam breaks. And now they don't really know
the muck hits the fan.
Yeah. They don't really know precisely what exactly caused the dam to break. There were reports of people saying that they had heard an explosion.
Oh God.
Sort of a boom of some sort, and
that's the muck.
Yeah, they thought that it could have possibly been someone pissed off and just wanted to break the dam intentionally.
One person can't do that. Not without like some dynamite or something.
Well, that's what they're saying. The explosion was the dynamite.
Okay.
They were thinking that someone may have, intentionally blown it. They thought that maybe there was some gas buildup that, caused a fire. There were lots of explanations that people put forth, and none of it really made sense. My thought is, you've got a really shitty retaining wall, and you've got too much shit behind the retaining wall. It's going to break eventually.
Yep.
Now, I don't know what the natural factor, the specific thing that caused it to tip over, but like, it doesn't seem that difficult of a stretch to just say there was too much muck in the muck dam and the muck dam's going to break. I like saying muck
How
dam.
much muck could a muck dam hold if a muck dam could hold muck? I can't believe I pulled that shit off.
Megatons, it
Holy
turns out.
Holy shit, I could. And then it'll break.
Yeah, and then it breaks.
I can't believe I pulled that off.
Yeah.
That was a tongue twister.
So when the dam breaks, the wall of water is over 100 feet high, 300 feet wide, and once again, it's a lot of water, but it's also sludge.
Yeah.
And it is caustic sludge. So all of this very, very basic material is first you get the sound. And the sound is...
First you taste the chocolate, then you taste the peanuts.
Yeah. So
anybody remember those 90s Mr. Goodbar commercials? This guy, because I loved Mr. Goodbars.
Yeah, didn't we all? Back to the bummer.
I still do.
So first
I'm trying to help,
well,
Leah.
You're ruining my goddamn story,
Trying to
Mitchell.
make things better.
You're not making it better.
I'm sorry.
So you're getting this roar, this sound initially that is sort of a rumble, roar of thunder, what the fuck, and it's loud. And that kind of gets a lot of people confused. So they go outside on their porch only to be hit in the fucking face with either debris or just a wall of fucking water.
Jesus.
So that's what gets a lot of people initially.
Yeah.
Is that they hear this sound, they go out to investigate, and they get swept away, or they get, smacked in the head with something that had been caught further upstream.
Jesus.
Yeah. And if the people didn't go out and look at what was coming, they all of a sudden realize that their house has been moved off their foundation and they're floating downriver now.
They didn't feel it at the time?
No,
I imagine.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, immediately they get, and all of a sudden you're just having a nice Christmas, because it's Christmas Eve. People are doing Christmas Eve shit. There are people out in town having Christmas Eve parties. There are families that are visiting, people opening presents, having family dinners, and all of a sudden the house is moving and you don't know what the fuck is going on. That's what happens.
I was gonna say it might be like a relativity thing where there's like an initial lurch and they're like, what was that? Like an earthquake. And then they don't necessarily feel it anymore, but they like look outside and they're moving.
I don't
Something
know.
like that,
I just
maybe.
feel like it would have been a lot more chaotic than
Yeah,
that.
it sounds chaotic as fuck,
because,
but
like,
when you
if-
say off the foundation, that just makes me
Yeah.
think the whole thing got lifted up and moved.
I think
know.
it was more like crushing the house
Yeah.
as it moves.
That's
kind of
what I would
situation.
think. Yeah.
Because it flattens just everything in its wake, and it covers everything in this thick paste of this alkali substance. Everything looks like it's been whitewashed. The top of the trees have been sprayed completely white. Everything, it's just this thick, gloopy muck that's absolutely
huh?
everywhere.
It was gloopy. I didn't know it was gloopy.
It was gloopy. And it took down houses and barns and trees. It drowned farm animals. It drowned people. It floated cars away. It floated houses away. It absolutely devastated absolutely everything. And they didn't really have an official population count of the area, but this area had a good 60 or so residents, but it was also Christmas, so some people were away visiting relatives, but there were also a bunch of people that were in town to visit relatives, so they don't know exactly how many people were in the path of this situation, but they do know that 19 people died, everybody from like 1-year-olds to like older senior citizens, like 19 people. And this was such a small community that like everybody knew someone personally that died in this situation. Like people were left as kids were left as orphans.
Jesus.
Parents were like, all their kids died. Like it was really, really, really bad. And on top of the fact that there were people that died, the people that survived got caught up in this substance, and it burned their skin. It was so basic of a solution that it literally burnt the skin off of survivors.
That's
burnt,
the worst part.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it burnt holes in people's skin that were like completely sprayed in it.
It's chemical burn, right?
Yeah, they're chemical burns. And so when they're doing the rescue, because there's tons of stories about people, trying to find survivors and wading into the river muck and all of this stuff, trying to rescue kids that had gotten out and were floating down, and people were there were reports of people just jumping in this stuff, this solution, this muck, and getting these kids out and saving them and all of that stuff. But everybody after this happened, they're getting chemical burns all over their bodies.
And they're scarred, probably.
And, some of it does. They're kids, and there isn't a hospital in town. It's a really small rural area. So they set up basically a medical station in the town general store that's owned by the Alkali Works company, and they basically they're like, yeah, we'll do whatever we can to fix everybody. So they set up shop in their store. They donate all of the medical equipment. And what's weird about this story is no one seems to blame the Alkali company at all. No one's up in arms. No one's like, y'all fucked us over kind of stuff, what you would normally think. Yeah. But they apparently were doing everything they could to help their community, which makes me hope that there were in a good place. I don't know.
There are a couple things that come to mind with everything that I just heard in those last few seconds.
Go ahead.
Number one is, you say nobody blames them. It most likely was just an accident.
Yeah.
Like, it sucked, and they didn't have a correct retaining structure.
But it was 1904 or 1924,
right.
And who did?
Who did, exactly. Yeah. The engineering had not quite gotten there, even though engineering had made some gigantic strides. It wasn't quite caught up to technology at that point. It's not that
the engineering wasn't there. It was just that the regulation and
right.
standards weren't there.
Well, free market, Leah. You know better than that. Capitalism, free market.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I'm that guy. By the way, I'm joking if anybody doesn't know. Regulation is absolutely necessary in literally every situation. Number two, this sounds very similar to the kind of like manufacturing towns that would come up and be like, we're not going to pay you but like you can spend what you quote unquote earn on the job in the store right here in the community with like these company credits. Like it sounds like that. Like the Alkaline Company like ran the town kind of?
No. That's
Okay.
actually not how this situation was set up at all.
Okay. Because it just sounded like you said...
It was an actual town.
Yeah, but like they brought in the medical equipment like you said and all that, and it just sounded kind of like that to me.
That's a lot more
so
of
that
a
was the
coal
first thought I
mining
had, and then
situation.
the second thought was the accident.
Yeah, no,
part,
this is a lot more of a that particular setup is a lot more prevalent in like West Virginia, where there were coal miner like settlements and camps that they own the whole town. That's not what this is.
Like you don't get money, but you can buy your groceries in this store that we own.
It's called Scrip, and that's not the same thing. There were plenty of other things to be doing. Some people were farmers, and it was a regular community, not something that was owned by the store. It just the store that was happened to be also owned by, the general store in the area was also owned by that company as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm just saying that
completely off the rails.
That was one thing that came up in my mind, and I was like,
no.
I love those stories because it's like, why would you trust anybody like that?
No.
Why would you ever be like, yeah, that sounds fine?
No, this was a completely different situation. But yeah, so they end up bringing in, donating all of the medical supplies. They end up paying out money for anybody who lost houses. They help raise money to buy to rebuild houses and buy new clothes for all of the people and all of that stuff. Like they paid for the funerals of all of the people that died. Like they really did what they could to like fix the thing that their problem caused.
That's probably why people don't blame them, because they owned up and said,
yeah, no, we fucked up.
It's not necessarily that we fucked up, but there was an accident and it was on our watch.
Yeah.
It was an accident that occurred with our stuff, our equipment.
Yeah.
So we're going to make it right.
But like there was one guy that I saw in this article, and it says that he had the greatest personal loss of property.
Good for him.
Yeah, his name was J.H. Scott. Anyway, his loss, quote, includes 2 barns, hay and grain supplies, a car, a garage, a large apple orchard, a tenant house, a poultry house, his own personal residence, as well as his large tracts of prime farmland, because the alkaline substance poisoned the ground.
Yeah.
So all of the farmland was absolutely rendered completely useless. So people that had been making their living as farmers there in that area, in this rich, fertile Virginia soil, sorry about it, brah. You can't do that anymore because you've literally poisoned the ground with this substance. It will no longer grow anything because it's caustic.
When did this happen?
1924.
1924. That ground's probably still fucked up.
Probably. And on top of the fact that it fucked up all of that stuff, so it runs into this river, and that river runs into like the Tennessee River.
Yep.
And like it doubled the alkalinity of the Tennessee River for like within like a couple of days. Like it completely doubled the alkalinity of that, and it killed tons and tons and tons of fish too, because it suffocated them. And apparently everybody was like going into like the fishermen downstream were like going in specific areas where the clouds of this muck were, and they were just like gigging like they were spearfishing basically these dead fish out of the water so they could sell them, and you could just wash them really well, and it was fun.
Like there's nothing wrong with them.
They got thousands and thousands of pounds of fish that just died
basically
in the
for
river.
free.
Yeah,
you don't have to. It's
have
not
to
like
work for it. Yeah,
it's not like poisoning fish where the meat's unusable.
No, it's just.
I mean, look. I'm not on the side of the company here. I'm just saying,
but like I mean, yeah,
this isn't a necessarily awful thing. Like it's awful ecologically.
It is bad.
It's really bad ecologically, but they didn't make all of that unusable. At least people could eat that fish.
Yeah,
you absolutely could,
and they did.
So
but like I said, it was really, 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 really fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And it was environmentally devastating. It was devastating for all the people that lost all of their homes and their property and their families. It was just one of the most like horrendous sort of industrial accidents that happened in this area at the time. And I don't know, I just like...
You just love it.
I don't love it. It's just, I feel it's just weird that nobody ever talks about stories like these because they're so, isolated to the areas they happened in, that people that were in that area still remember this 100 years later. But like people that live, a few miles outside of the radius of where this happened just have no idea about it. And I don't know. I just find that kind of thing really interesting. And just, I just think we should learn more about historically interesting things like this. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
The
I think
big
it's
thing
interesting.
is, industry especially really doesn't want people to know about these sort of things.
Yeah,
like not
definitely
necessarily that company themselves,
Yeah,
but people
like,
don't want
Yeah.
to know that upstream this company that's harvesting everything that's happening at this dam, they could be a problem. Nobody wants people to think that, because we live in a capitalistic society, and that's going to affect the bottom line. So that's how it goes. So we just flat out don't hear about it, even though it has literally ruined many. Like that was less than 100 years ago, barely, but less than 100 years ago. But all of that land is probably still ruined at this point.
Yeah.
It was 1924, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm bad at math.
Yeah, that's 97 years.
Okay,
about.
I got it right, kinda.
You did. But all that land is probably still too alkalinic. Is that the word?
Yeah, alkaline.
Alkalinic to actually grow crops with any kind of, consistency. Who knows though? Not this guy.
It's possible. I mean, they've got a lot of new soil fixing techniques, that
soil fixing techniques.
As I say, it's very possible that they've cleaned the soil because they do that for a bunch of different, chemical spills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's ways of rejuvenating soil that's been fucked up like that. So it's possible that they fixed it. I really couldn't find anything because I looked into it, but I mean, there's not a whole lot on that area online. So I don't know the outcome of that specifically, but hopefully they've got it cleaned up and it's not as bad as when it happened, but who knows? But anyway, that was the story. And I just, it's the white Christmas that nobody fucking wanted.
Yeah.
Hated it. But anyway, so that information I did write down my sources for. Only in Your State is where I first read about it. And then I found this amazing article that is incredibly detailed. And if you want to read it.
But not about the soil quality.
No, I mean, it's very, very, very detailed about timelines and historical. It's 12 pages long, and I thought it was very, very interesting, but I'm not going to give you all of the little details because that is a lot of details about locations and alkalinities and stuff. So I'm not going to bore you with that, but I found it very interesting. And the article was written by a lady named Mary Frances McSpadden, which is a great name. And it was found on the mountainlaureljournal.com. So,
okay.
All right.
Well, I really enjoyed that story, honestly, because I really don't like the stories where structures, where structures are built, and you were supposed to trust them, like bridge collapses.
Yeah, I'm
fucking
terrified of bridge collapses.
I am too. Bridge collapses, dam failures, everything that we just talked about.
Yeah.
The levees in New Orleans is a big one that everybody about our age will hopefully know.
Yeah.
It's just, first of all, New Orleans should not be habitated, period.
No.
It is literally under sea level. What are you doing? Stop making New Orleans a cultural hub. Stop making it happen. Stop. I love New Orleans, but I am terrified to go there because the tiniest little thing and I'm drowning. I can swim, but I mean, you can be caught in a flood.
Yeah.
Just, New Orleans is literally under sea level. What are you doing? Anyway, that's a big one. I hate the stories where there are structures built to protect people and then they just fail and people go, whoops, look out. Heads up, here it comes. I hate that shit.
Well, they're surprisingly common. Surprisingly common enough to make my anxiety go through the fucking roof.
Not surprisingly, not to me. It's the structures are there to hold back nature. And everybody goes, yeah, it's fine. Like, I mean, I hate to say it again, but New Orleans is under sea level. Like, you are not supposed to live there. Period. But anyway, Miami will also be under sea level in the next 100 years. So, well, who am I to say anything? Right?
I suppose.
Anyway, those are my thoughts.
Okay. Well, how about we Toasty McToasterson and wrap this up?
Okay.
All right.
Hit me with it.
Hoist your water cups high into the sky because we've all got bacteria or something.
What?
Antibiotics are for bacteria, right?
Because we've all got bacteria. Everybody toast your bacteria.
Well, I'm having water because
well, you got to have good gut health. Anyway, make sure you got a good biome.
I know my bone's fucked because I've had to take antibiotics several times this year.
That's very true. Very true.
Anyway, if anybody knows any good probiotics, I'm on the lookout. Anyway, so everybody hoist your water higher to the sky. Let's Toasty McToasterson. Kittens on her gowns and cigars on her lips, Betty scandalized the town with her independent trips. Saltville was dreaming of a white Christmas, but just not one like that. A wave of muck consumed the town and crushed the houses flat. Drink.
Oh, Leah. Not bad, though.
Okay,
not bad
thanks.
this week. You did pretty good. Everybody have your drinks.
Refreshing.
Yeah, it's a good way to let people know who only listen to the show that you finished your drink. Yeah, that's always a great noise to get in the earballs directly. What's that thing that you always tell me? That rip, slip, brush. I don't remember that commercial at all, but you do. The little finger toothbrushes. Does anybody remember those?
Yeah, they were the little like paper fabric toothbrushes. It was like a Listerine pocket swipers.
Like
I don't know.
Once every 3 weeks, Leah goes, lip. No, not lip. Excuse me.
Slip.
Take it.
Brush.
Like, and it happens way too much in this house, and I get really upset.
Someone remembers that out there. It is not just me because we had those things because I thought they were really fun. They were just like little paper, kind of like those like fabric.
It's a finger
things.
condom with toothpaste on it.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was like a minty kind of thing, and you just sort of like. It was around the time that like mini toothbrushes like that you could bring in your purse were a thing. And like there were like little plastic ones that were like a thing as well that I think they still make.
It was an early 2000s thing.
Yeah. But like I said, portable toothbrushes apparently were the thing. And so I don't know. And my mom bought a pack of them because I thought they were fun. And I just remember that commercial so vividly. But they peel the thing off and they're like, rip, slip, brush. I can't help it. It makes me laugh.
I just hate that you remember it so well. I hate it so much. But
I wonder if that commercial's on YouTube.
That's what I was about to say. Y'all, there are these things. There are these people have curated these commercials from different years from our childhoods. It's not even from it's just anywhere, any year. But you can just find them. Just type in like 90s commercials and somebody will be like 1996 fall commercials. Yeah. And it's all shit that you were like, oh my God, I remember that Goldfish commercial.
No, I still have the 1996 Grand Champions pony toys.
Leah.
That commercial stuck in my Grand Champions, the most beautiful horses in the world.
But see, they're like 30 minutes long. And what really upsets me is that we haven't done this stoned. We have done this completely sober, and I'm so upset.
I was gonna say, there's no chemical alteration here. We're just
like if we did this stoned, Leah. Oh my God, you don't know what would happen to me. But we've done this sober every time, and we're like watching commercials from 1992, and they're like Home Alone 2 commercials and stuff, and which is my favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah,
and they're like 30, 40 minutes long, maybe an hour, and we'll watch them, and each commercial's 30 seconds to a minute. And Leah and I each take turns going, I remember that one. I remember that one.
Never seen that one before.
I remember that one. Don't know that one. I remember that one. It's amazing. Holy shit, it's amazing. If y'all haven't watched, just type in like classic commercials or 90s commercials or something like that.
Depending on when you grew up.
Yeah.
Pick your favorite decade. They're there.
People have gone through and just curated commercials into hour-long videos. And they're probably fucking millionaires at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, a lot of them are shitty VHS quality,
yeah,
but you know.
I mean, most of them are because that's, the quality that is available. But anyway.
Oh, it's amazing.
So yeah, also check out our merch store.
Oh yeah, go to the merch. We're going to do Mucknam t-shirts.
We're not doing that.
Nostalgic commercial t-shirts.
Nope.
We'll figure that out. We'll do Leah saying rip, slip, brush
That might happen.
on a t-shirt.
I bet that is still like copyrighted by whoever made those toothbrushes.
Could be. I doubt that it's public domain at this point. Nobody got that, right? We're on video.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to let you talk while I was having fun.
Oh, well, I was in the middle of being gaseous.
Oh, gross. Okay, well, how about you wrap it up so we can take you to Taco Bell?
No, I don't need to eat.
Oh, good.
I did, but then I had another shot.
You've been supremely bummed out. That's exciting.
No, I just had too much everything else. So.
All right, well.
Well, you can go to Taco Bell and bring me something back.
I do not want to go to Taco Bell.
Like, I don't want to go sit in the line.
Yeah, I don't want to go at all. So how about you wrap it up, babe?
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Follow us on all of your social media platforms. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/Southern Spirits Podcast. Send us an email, southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. Check out the merch store. Those links will be in the episode description and they're on our Facebook. Send us a postcard, P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama 35640. Is that everything, Leah?
That's everything.
You sure I didn't forget anything?
I'm positive.
Okay. Well, we will see y'all next time.
Bye, y'all.